I'm Yocum. This is a sequence I've designed for those who don't have a whole lot of time, and it's recommended for strong beginners and up. It's a little bit more intense of a workout, and so if you are a little bit shaky or you don't have a whole lot of flexibility, you may want to try my beginner yoga video instead. If you're ready to kick it up to the next level, this is a great intro. So go ahead and get started in a nice, easy seated position. It's good to take the ankles in front of one another rather than having them in the original cross-legged position, because this allows the hips to open up even further. If you have tight hips, then you can even sit up on a blanket like I'm doing, and that helps you even more. You're going to roll the shoulders back, place the hands on the knees, and close the eyes, taking a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. Letting the shoulders sink down to the earth. And then gently blink the eyes open. We're going to start by doing what's called engaging Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is one of the locks in the body. And you don't have to really know what that means, but what we're going to do is we're going to tighten all the muscles in the pelvic floor area. So it's the equivalent of the muscles that you would use to stop the flow of urine, or Kegel exercises if you're a woman and you had to do that after you had your baby. So you're going to go ahead and tighten all those muscles up, and this sends the energy upward. It helps also to engage the core. So just feeling what this feels like to have those muscles engaged, and then the uprightness that results from this. And we're going to keep these engaged at about 25% throughout our practice, if at all possible. So just remind yourself as you're going along, and it takes time, so in a few times of doing this, you'll be able to engage Mula Bandha more effectively. So you're going to start by exhale, take the chin up toward the ceiling, stretching out the front of the neck and chest. Touch the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the top two teeth and close the lips. You can jut out the chin a little bit more if you need a deeper stretch. And inhale back to center. Exhale, take the chin to the chest, stretching out the back of the neck. And inhale back to center. Exhale, take the right ear toward the right shoulder. It's not going to touch. Just let your head hang wherever it does. Inhale back to center. Exhale down the other side. And come back to center. Begin to circle the head around. Keeping your eyes closed here, or else you might get too dizzy. And switch directions. And coming back to center. Gently blink the eyes open. And from here, take the hands to the knees if they weren't already there. And inhale, bring your chest between your arms. So I'm going to turn so that you can see me a little bit better here. Take this mat out of my way, or my blanket there. So you're going to inhale again, taking the chest between the arms. And then exhale, rounding the back. So seated cat-cow, inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. Going back and forth with your breath. And from here, inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhale, rounding the back, bringing those hands into fists, taking the knees off the ground. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale. exhale back. Inhaling up. Maybe now you come and take the feet off the ground. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Sweeping up and back. One more time. And then here, go ahead, stay here. Undo the feet. Take the toes together. And then take the palms so they're facing up toward the ceiling. And then you're going to lower out. Extend those legs. Come back up. 2. Back up. 3. Back up. 4. And 5. From here, lower all the way down. Scoot myself back here. And if you can, keep those shoulders off the ground. Take the arms up overhead. And then go ahead, bring yourself back up. Now, if you need to stay here on the ground, if you need to have your hands on your knees, you can do that. Ideal is to have the feet out, arms up. So extending back, overhead, and back up, and back, down, sweeping up, exhaling back. One more time. Staying here, taking your hands to your knees, placing them down gently, and then coming back to a seated position. So from here, rocking side to side, finding a place where you feel nice and grounded. Take that right hand out to the side. You're going to push through that to round the side of the body. Reach that left arm overhead. Open the chest. If you can, bend that elbow, that right elbow, but you don't want to have this hip float up. You want to keep it nice and tacked down. And coming back to center. Other side, reach and stretch. Again, opening the heart, coming back to center. One more time each side. Back to center. Other side. Coming back to center. Now take that right hand behind you, left hand to right knee. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist. Come back to center. Other side. Exhale, twist. Again, we're just doing short versions of these so that we can pack things in. Bring it back to center. Go ahead, come onto hands and knees. Now, if you have knee issues, you may want to use a blanket. So if you have one, go ahead, spread it out, give yourself a nice amount of space. You want to make sure the stuff's not all wrinkly in there and hurt your knees. So go ahead, bring your knees onto the blanket if you have one. Otherwise, just onto hands and knees. And from here, coming into cat-cow. So lifting up into cow. Exhaling, rounding the back into cat. Just going back and forth. Cat-cow. Inhales cow, exhales cat. Now for your next cat, go ahead, come back into table. Tuck the toes, lift the knees about 1 inch off the ground, and then cat-cow here. So cow, and then cat. Going back and forth, keeping those knees lifted. After that cat, go ahead, come down. Now we're going to come into a sequence here where we're going to do several different versions of things that really work the abdominal muscles. So the center abs, the side obliques. So we're going to start by taking that right leg back and slightly up toward the ceiling. This creates that cow tilt to the back. And then we're going to bring it in knee to nose. So hugging it in as tight as you can. Extending back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Other side. Up. And crunch it in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then go ahead, bring that down. Now we're going to do the right leg back, left arm out at the same time, and from here, bringing it in elbow to knee, extending out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And bring it down. Other side. Left leg comes back. Right arm goes out. Crunch it in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And bring it down. So now we're going to do half crow, which that actually helps those side abs. So go ahead, extend that right leg out, and then this time we're going to bring the knee to the upper arm. Now if you can't get it there, take your foot down, wherever you can get it, whether it's back here, whether it's right up there, anywhere in between. Ready? Extending back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And down. Other side. Left leg comes up. Crunching it in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And down. Go ahead, push back. Give yourself a nice child's pose here. Let the head sink to the mat. And the arms just rest. Let everything go. You can move side to side a little bit if you need to. And then lifting up. Now, from here, we're going to go ahead and tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Now walk it out because it's our first one. And then lift the heels rather, and come all the way forward into plank. And then from here, push through the hands to wave it all the way back, downward facing dog. Waving it forward, plank, pushing back, downward facing dog. One more time, waving it all the way forward, and then pushing through the hands all the way back. And then from here, coming into the whole vinyasa flow. So we're going to lift the heels, come all the way forward, and then we're going to shift the weight forward just a little bit, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Then coming into up dog, pushing back through the core, you're going to lift into that pointed plank, and then downward facing dog. I'm going to scoot this out of our way here. And let's go ahead and do one more time. So lifting up through the heels, coming all the way into plank, shifting forward, chaturanga, up dog, and pushing back, pointed plank, into downward facing dog. Good, go ahead, bring it down to the knees here, and push back, child's pose for a moment. And then lifting up and forward. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and come up onto the knees. Again, if you need to have a blanket underneath you, you can. So taking a blanket under the knees. We're going to do a couple things here to help stretch out the hips. So first one's going to be low lunge. So we're going to take the left foot forward, knee over the ankle, coming up onto the side. Back leg should be at a slight angle so you feel a stretch right in here in this inner hip area. Inhale, taking the arms up overhead, intensifying the stretch. And then go ahead, take your hands down, big toe side, scoot that foot out to the side. Bend the elbows or bring the forearms all the way down to the ground, coming into this modified lizard pose. Now, if you are more advanced and you'd like to do the full version of the pose, you're going to tuck those back toes and lift that back knee off the ground. But if you're not, you can always just keep it down there, either way. And then place those hands down and take that front foot back, walking the hands back to come up onto the knees. Take that right foot forward. Take the knee over the ankle. Again, hands start up here on the thigh. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. And then taking them down, big toe side, scoot that foot out to the side. And then bend the elbows or take the forearms all the way down to the ground. Again, you can tuck those back toes, take that back leg off the ground if you want. I just kind of feel like I don't get as good of a stretch when I take that back knee off the ground. But you could be different. Go ahead, push the hands up and take that front foot back. And then from here, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Whack it out a little bit. We're going to take that right leg up toward the ceiling and then bend the knee, shift the weight so it goes the shoulders over the wrist. You're really hugging that knee into the stomach, extending back. Number 2, 4 splits. Number 3, and here we're going to take the knee behind that right hand. So if you have this blanket here, you can always kind of push that off to the side. You might need it here though. So we're going to take this knee and you can take the legs, the calf area, and scoot it out so that it's closer to perpendicular. So across the body is ideal, but it may be back at an angle, like most people will be, because most of us have tight hips. So I'm just going to show you here, it may look something like this. So if it does, you want to go ahead and take a blanket and prop that underneath your hips so that you get a little bit of support there. And then from here, you always want to have yourself centered over your body. And you're going to lift yourself up, waterfall it down. Inhale, lifting up, exhaling down. Third time, go ahead, keep it down here. Take your forearms down and take the palms, stack them, and give yourself a nice little place for your head to rest. And again, this is a place where if you have an extra bit of time, like at least half an hour, maybe 45 minutes or more, you can spend a good 5 minutes on this pigeon on each side. And I'd highly recommend it. It really opens up the hips in an amazing way. But for those of us who don't have much time, we're going to go ahead and push the hands down. And you're going to tuck those back toes. And then use the core to push yourself all the way back up to three-legged dog. And then just go ahead, bend the knee, rotate it out to the side if you need to, whatever you need to do. And then from here, left leg comes up, shifting it forward. 2 and 3, third time, coming here behind that left hand. And then scooting the leg out to the side, wherever you can get it, scooting this back leg back. And again, if you need some support with the blanket, go ahead, put that underneath that hip. And then fingertips here, lifting up, waterfalling it forward. 2 and third time, just folding over that leg, coming down the forearms, stacking the fists, so you have a nice place to rest. Again, good place to spend about 5 minutes if you can. If you're less advanced, you want to spend maybe a couple minutes here, no more than that. And then go ahead, press your hands down, tuck those back toes, and lift up into that three-legged dog. Don't slide on the mat like I just did. Bend out that knee, anything you can, and then take that foot down. Walk it out a little bit if you need to, and then bring it down onto hands and knees and come into seated. Or if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, bending the knees and jumping lightly behind the hands, sitting back onto your foot and rolling onto your back from here. Bringing the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Give yourself a little back massage. And take the hands and knees and take the knees into circles. Massaging out the sacrum. Nice area there at the base of the spine. And switch directions. And then go ahead, take that right knee into the chest, take the left foot just flat on the mat. This helps open up the hip a little further. And release, other side. So bringing that left knee in. And then release. Then go ahead, place your feet flat, and you're going to lift the hips up off the ground, take them over to the left side, place them down, and then take the knees to the right. And take your left arm out to the side, turn your gaze there as well if you can. If it's too challenging, you can always place your hand on the side instead of on the floor. And go ahead, come back to center, place the feet flat, lift the hips up, take them to the right side of the mat, take the knees to the left, extend the right arm out to the side. And then go ahead, come back to center. Place the hips back in the middle. Pull the knees in chest one last time. Just rock side to side for a second. Hug those knees in. And then take the legs out, extending them out one at a time. Taking the arms close to the body, about 45 degrees out from the body. And then palms up in a sign of acceptance for whatever the universe has in store for you. Closing the eyes, feel yourself sink deeply into the earth, knowing it will support you. If a thought enters your mind, acknowledge it and let it go. Focus only on the breath. have extra time, it's lovely to spend at least 10 minutes here in Shavasana. Really 5 is a good minimum, but 10, maybe even 15 if you're feeling a little indulgent. Shavasana is a time that we incorporate everything that our bodies just did. So even if you can only do it for a few seconds, it's better than not at all. So just breathe here. And then gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and stretch in whatever way feels good to you. And then roll onto your right side in a fetal position, supporting your head with your arm, tucking your knees into your chest and keeping your eyes closed, resting here a moment. When you're ready, press your hand to the floor, pushing yourself up in a seated position with your head coming up last and coming back into that Sukhasana, easy seated position. Roll shoulders back, place the hands into Namaste or prayer pose at your chest. Close the eyes, tuck the chin, take a couple deep breaths here. Thank you for doing this practice with me. I hope to see you next time. Namaste.